Let me tell you about one of the most incredible and unexpected oral sex experiences a woman ever described to me in my practice, and exactly what made it so powerful. Most oral sex that women receive in their lifetime is fine, kind of like a well-meaning gift that doesn't quite hit the mark. They receive it gracefully, right? It often feels like something that's happening to them, not something they're fully a part of, until they experience something different. What made this particular experience stand out wasn't wild or messy or acrobatic or even that complicated. It was slow, focused, and intentional. And it had her gripping the sheets, trying not to disturb the neighbors. What he did was simple, super simple. But not many men know how to do it, at least not well. It's what I've come to call the touchless touch technique. I'm Dr. Fiona Gray, your trusted men's health advisor. Here's what I'm breaking down today. First, why most men completely miss the mark when it comes to oral sex, even when they're trying their hardest. Then, the exact step-by-step technique that builds arousal so effectively that orgasm becomes almost inevitable. And finally, the most common mistakes men make right at the finish line that ruin everything they've built up. The guy who inspired this approach had a 100% success rate when it came to oral sex, every single time. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why. Before I get into the step-by-step guide, let's talk about why most men miss the mark. Too many guys go into oral sex with tongues blazing, or they start carefully and then switch things up way too often. They try everything except what actually works, which is doing less but doing it better. Women's bodies are incredibly responsive, but they need consistency. And the touchless touch technique is built around exactly that. Consistent, precise, rhythmic movements designed to tease her body into a full-blown climax. I cannot tell you how many women have told me that just as oral was getting good, their partners switched up the technique, and what could have been an orgasm turned into them eventually giving up and asking him to stop. Now, I want to be clear. Great sex doesn't have to lead to orgasms. Women can thoroughly enjoy oral sex without reaching climax. But if climax is what you're after, then this is for you. Now, before I walk you through the technique, let me tell you about a resource that's going to save you from making the most embarrassing mistakes during oral. I've put together a free guide called 10 Oral Sex Mistakes That Kill Her Pleasure. This covers the specific errors that most men make without realizing it. Things that seem minor but completely ruin the experience for her. A lot of guys think they know what they're doing, but they're actually doing things that turn her off or make her uncomfortable. You'll find the link in the description. It's completely free, and it'll prevent you from sabotaging your own efforts. The touchless touch technique. Let's break it all down. The first step is what I call the soft entry. The beginning of oral is all about building anticipation and arousal. You want to have her basically begging you to touch the most sensitive parts of her body before you let her have it. So start with everything but the clitoris. Think kisses on her inner thighs, her mons pubis, her outer lips, light licks, nuzzles. Make her ache for your mouth to hurry up and get where it's going. This builds desire, which, by the way, is half of the game when it comes to mind-blowing oral. Letting her body heat up slowly, letting her mind fully build up anticipation and arousal, like, when is he going to do that, makes everything else feel 10 times more intense when you finally do. Essentially, what you're doing is making her brain come front and center, right on what's going on. The second step is the hover. Once she's practically grinding herself, practically grabbing your head, trying to bring your mouth closer to her clitoris, don't touch it yet. Still don't touch it. What you're going to do is let yourself hover over the clitoris. Maybe you send some warm breath, just your natural exhale, onto the clitoris. Not all women love that, but many do. Maybe you gently graze it with the tip of your nose, or you brush it with one of your lips. But you do not actually land on it. You are right there. She can feel that you're right there. You're zeroed in, but you're holding back just enough that her body is reaching out towards you. Her nerve endings are practically jumping out of her body to pull you in closer. That is the level I want you to be at in step 2. The third step is the tease. Even after all of that, you're still not going to dive in. Now I know at this moment you are probably just as desperate for it as she is. But the key to this technique is staying in control while building up slowly. So your next step is very, very light flicks of your tongue, not on the clitoris itself, but just around it. Think of this like licking the yolk of an egg without breaking it. The clitoris is the egg yolk. You're licking right around the edge, just gentle enough not to actually break it. Think circular gliding, barely there movement. This makes the nerves in her clitoris more sensitive, even more sensitive than they were after the first few steps. You're still waking up her body. You're still letting her swell with blood. But most importantly, you're not actually giving her what she wants, and you're certainly not overwhelming her. Again, going back to our tongues ablaze metaphor, this is allowing her arousal to continue to rise. The fourth step is finding her flow. Once her breath starts to catch and her hips begin to roll and her body starts really reaching out for you, that is your green light. At that point, you start to match her rhythm. Now, this is the part where it can get a little difficult, but imagine this. You are watching her body. You are listening to her body. Basically, every one of your senses and all of your attention is trained on her body and her movements, her breath, everything. This is the point where you land your tongue directly on her clitoris and you pulse. You make small, repetitive motions. You don't dart around, you don't zigzag, you don't trace letters of the alphabet. Think very slow and steady, either side to side or up and down. Remember that one of the 4 quadrants of her clitoris is likely to be the most sensitive. For some, it's the middle, but for most women, it's northeast or southwest, and one of those is going to be more sensitive. If you already know that, great. If this is a new partner, communication is golden. But whatever you do, when you find out what her preference is, stick to it. Stick to that motion, either up, down, side, side, and stick to that quadrant. Stick to it. Now her body is going to tell you what's working. Her body is going to give you all of the cues that you need to let you know where to go harder or faster. Again, same motion, different speed, different pressure. You're going to listen for moans. You're going to listen to her breath. You're going to watch her pelvis. Does it move towards you? Does it move away from you? Which way does it tilt? That's probably her trying to get you onto the spot that feels really good. And as you get cues from her, then you can slowly increase the pressure until you find the sweet spot. But you're not going to change the motion. If she's getting louder, that's the point. That means it's working. We don't change anything. That brings me to step number 5, ride the edge. Here's where 90% of people giving oral sex mess it up, right at the finish line. If you think that oral sex is about what you do with your tongue, then you've already missed the point. It is not about stimulation. It is about rhythm. It is about consistency, and it is about making her feel like you are with her in every single move. Again, do less, but do less better. Do what you are doing better. It's better to do that than to do more. Once she's close, your job is to just stay locked in. Stay right there. Now this is where most guys, and I'll admit women too, get panicky and overexcited. We're like, oh my God, she's getting close to orgasm. We try to speed it up. We try to change it up. We're just like, I'll give her more. She's already on the edge. What you are doing is already getting her there. You just need to keep going. Stick to the rhythm. If you're going to do anything different, you can add more pressure, but be thoughtful about how much. Also, think about your tongue. It is a muscle. If you're at a 10 out of 10 on speed and pressure, and it takes her a while to get to that edge, I don't want you to strain yourself. My point is to just make sure that you are keeping to the same technique and the same pacing, the same pressure, unless she gives you a very clear or explicit sign that you can add a little more. And then think about what you're adding. just a little more. Now, if you want to give her a blended orgasm and you haven't already done this, this is a great moment to gently insert a finger or two. And even better, match them with a pulsing motion at the same speed as you are moving your tongue. Now, if you don't want to fully insert your fingers, sometimes just putting your hand grazing or anchoring at the base of her vaginal opening, so right on the outside, even with the same rhythm, either the flat of your hand or with your fingers, that can also do the same trick. Because again, what you're doing is you're just matching the rhythm. You're giving her more of what is already working. And the result, if you're both locked in and what you're doing is working, will be a tremendous screaming into the pillow kind of orgasm. Let me give you the key takeaways from this technique. Arousal is built through anticipation, not stimulation. The more you make her wait for what she wants, the more intense it feels when you finally give it to her. Consistency beats variety every single time. Once you find what works, stick with it. Don't change motion, don't change rhythm, don't get creative. Just stay locked in. Pay attention to her body's signals, her breath, her hips, her moans. These tell you everything you need to know about whether to increase pressure or maintain exactly what you're doing. And finally, resist the urge to finish strong by going harder and faster. That impulse ruins more orgasms than anything else. When she's close, your job is to maintain, not escalate. The touchless touch technique works because it respects how female arousal actually builds. It's not about overwhelming her with sensation. It's about creating a steady, rhythmic escalation that her body can ride all the way to climax. And when you get this right, you're not just giving her an orgasm. You're giving her an experience she'll be thinking about long after. If this opened your eyes to what you've been doing wrong, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss future content. Leave a comment below. What surprised you most about this technique? Or what mistake have you been making that you're going to fix? I read the comments. Thanks for watching and take care of yourself.